What's up, guys? It is Nick D back with another video. In this video, I'm going to be taking you guys through how I took 2 trades over the past 24 hours and I have generated over 10,000 USD in profit using $200,000 of funded capital that isn't even mine, right? Which is the crazy thing. So, first of all, I'm going to take you guys through the setups and what I was seeing. This channel is going to be around building just education for beginners, right? Like if someone's struggling to make profit or struggling to trade correctly, this is going to basically break down what I'm doing, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, right? I had a really, really good break. I'm back in 2026 and I'm going to be doing YouTube heavily. So let's jump into it. So these are the 2 trades I took. If you're looking at this right now thinking, what the fuck is that? Let me break it down for you. So obviously this is a Bitcoin chart. Now every single candle is representing 1 hour. Okay, so 1 hour of time, each one of these candles. Now, I'm just going to take you guys to a 15-minute time frame. And what we can see on, let's go back to replay mode. This was essentially my first entry last night. Okay, so this was happening at around, I'd say around 8 p.m. Sydney time. And essentially what I was looking for was this flip zone here, right? So this is previously a level where Bitcoin was resisting, right? We made equal highs here, okay? We came back down, and when I saw this level get ran with some strength, so we made obviously another major high up here, what I'm looking for is like a return to the origin of that break, right? That's not the only thing I want to be looking for though. I wanted to actually see this low, okay? So you guys can see this low before the major high was created up here. I wanted to see that get swept. Okay, now what I mean by swept is I wanted to see price move below it. Okay, so let me just get rid of this for now. See how the wick of this price action on this 15-minute candle dropped below this level here. Okay, but the body of the candle closed back above. That is what we call our trigger, our sweep. Okay, so the trigger is essentially what's going to allow us to be interested in looking further into this trade. And that's why I call it the trigger. It's what triggers that thought process of looking into the trade further. Now, the second part of this is the confirmation. Okay, so the confirmation of this trade was I needed to see not only price sweep and close above, but what I wanted to see was a bullish candle. Okay, so let me just make this green. What I wanted to see was a bullish follow-up that was fairly strong in velocity. What I mean by velocity is like how quick it happened. I don't want price sort of just like fluttering around this level. Okay, I want to see a strong close back above this line. Okay, so you can see this line here. So if I play price, you can see we instantly get what we call the reclaim. So we're reclaiming the strength of this low. Even though price comes back a little bit, essentially my entry was here. My entry was for 93,270. Okay, so I would have dropped to the 5-minute time frame at that point, and I probably would have bid the start of this candle. Okay, now essentially what happened here is I would have been placing my stop loss. It was 93,010, and I'll show you guys everything on breakout. So 93,010, and what I'm targeting on this trade was a sweep above these highs here. Okay, because I knew basically what I was looking for was we've got all of this internal structure here. So you can see these are all highs in the market, right? That got formed when price came down and made a new low. This is essentially liquidity, right? So there's other traders on the other side that have their stop losses sitting above these highs. And essentially that is fuel that I'm looking to capture, right? So if I'm entering here, I have basically a premise as to why price should go higher, because price likes to take liquidity and move to areas of liquidity pools, right? And that's how the market moves. Okay, same thing how the market came down this way and took out this low and this low with the sweep here, because there's stop losses sitting below this level, right? So that's why I wait for the sweep first and then take the reclaim. Okay, so let me just remove all this mess. Sorry for my drawing. So once that occurred, okay, I'm literally entering, putting my stop loss, and I'm letting the trade play out, okay? And if we play what happened here, you can see price comes up, and then what we should see, if I'm right on the trade, is essentially, see how I marked out these equal highs here, this trend line liquidity, okay? So this sloping liquidity here. What we basically want to see, just to ensure that we're right and we're getting a positive loop with our analysis, we should see price, if you've marked the right level, be really, like, have huge velocity when it breaks a level of liquidity, right? Because that's sort of like the cascade of stop losses that are being triggered in the market. So if we play this, you'll see, look at that. As soon as we really get volume and we start breaking above here and capturing those buy side orders, okay, because people that are selling, they have to buy back into the market to get out of that position. Does that make sense? So they're actually buyers of that side of the market, which is causing that huge cascade to the upside. Unfortunately, I didn't get the full move. Obviously, it would have been a better risk to reward ratio. My take profit was at like 2.8 to 1, right? So for every $1,000 of risk, I'm making $2,800 back. And you can see that here on that trade, I made $3,200, which was about $1,200 of risk, right? So I'm risking $1,200 on my funded account to make $3,200. I have a 90% profit share with this firm, which means that I'm walking away with $2,900 of that, right? Or more. So that's essentially the first trade I took. And then I wake up this morning to the market just completely dropping, right? So let me show you what it looked like. The market came all the way down here when I woke up this morning, okay? And I had previously marked out, okay, inside of my community, this level here, okay? Because essentially when price was sitting at this high on the higher time frames, like the 2 hour or 4 hour, what I could see was that price was above these highs, okay? And we never closed above. So we're actually sweeping like really extreme highs. So that's why when I showed you guys this first trade here, the reason I never took my take profit all the way to the major target was because I didn't have confidence that we were going to make a new high above that, because we've already swept this major high here, right? So because we never closed above that high, I don't have confidence to take the trade higher. So this was essentially a counter trend trade. What I was looking for was just a little bit of relief, take some buy side liquidity, and then I wanted to see price move lower. Now, when I woke up in the morning, it was really, really early actually. It was like 6:50 a.m. probably. I entered that trade. Let me have a look. So the problem right now on breakout is I actually can't see order history. So if we go it's not showing me order history, so there may be a bug on their platform, but it's showing me my cash movement. So here we go. So you'll be able to see 5:36 a.m., which is Sydney time. I paid $220 commission. So that's obviously me getting into the trade, and I held the trade for 5, 6, 7, 8, 3 hours. And I exited for $8,391 of profit. So let me show you this trade. So 5:36 in the morning, I enter this trade. Let's go to a 15-minute time frame. As soon as I saw price come into this level here, I would have loved to get in at the 50% of this zone. So this zone here is what we call like a pocket of demand, right? The reason I really like this one is because we got range high, range low, but then we also had a sweep here before we caused this high. So what I wanted to see over a midterm period was price coming back to this zone, and this is obviously an area I'm interested in getting involved. The entry isn't too specific here because we have such a large zone to work with. Essentially, as a trader, I'm just looking at this and I'm like, I just want to get involved anywhere around this zone because I know I've got my stop loss invalidation level here. And I know that if price breaks below this zone here, I'm wrong on the trade anyway. So I don't want to be involved in that trade anymore. So the entry isn't too hard to get on larger zones like this. These sweep and reclaims are a little bit harder. Okay, so this was, let me go back, just because that was my exact entry that I had before. That was my exact entry here. So as soon as I got, I'm pretty sure I was on a 5-minute. Yeah, so as soon as that 5-minute closed, I saw a little bit of a bearish push down. I just market executed here. And my take profit on this trade was right here. Okay, so there was a little bit. Let me just remove all of this stuff now, though. Let me get rid of all this shit. Just to make it easier for you guys to see. I don't need any of this stuff anymore. All right, cool. So this was the trade setup. What I saw was price had a lot of velocity on the way down, left some imbalance in price, okay? We can see some imbalance in price, which means there was a lot of velocity on the way down. We want to obviously balance the book. The market wants to balance the books and the order flow. So what I was essentially doing was trying to get involved anywhere around here. Got my entry at 91,647 and basically took profit a little bit above this imbalance here. So if I show you guys, let me smooth this. See this gap here? That's essentially an area that I want to see filled. Okay, and then we've got this low here that coincides with that. So that's where the breaker structure occurred. And we had this massive level of supply here. So let me just mark this out with my proper colors because that's pissing me off. So we had a massive level of supply up here. Price went a lot higher than I expected. Okay, but I was just looking to take profit a little bit above the imbalance. The reason I didn't take profit just here is because when price runs imbalance, it can act like that liquidity hunt, like I said before. It's not just going to come in and stop and then reverse. We essentially want to see some sort of blow off and then come back down. So you'll see here, if I play price, this was like a pretty clean 3-to-1. My stop loss was tucked just below the bullish engulfing candle. So because we had such strength come off this level, I don't really want to see price curl back under this low. Because if it's coming back below this low, the chances of it taking out this entire level is really high. So for me to get a better risk to reward ratio and actually make some more better expectancy with my risk to reward, I'm able to just tuck it below here, right? Because if I have my stop loss below here, it only goes to a 2-to-1. Right, but this is still a clean invalidation below this low here. So let's play price here. We'll see what I meant by that. See how the imbalance, it doesn't just like, you're not expecting it just to reverse at this point. You want to see it get ran. Like you want to see velocity go through that imbalance. And we can see we came pretty close to coming into 50% of this supply level here. So this supply level here is essentially, we had major high, we had lower low, lower high, lower low. So I was essentially taking another counter trend trade, but because we're at external discounts here, I'm able to take the trade. So essentially, because price is so low, I'm happy to bid this, even though it's out of line with the internal structure, because we've had a structure shift at this point here when we made this low and this lower high. So when price came down, happy to bid here, but I wasn't looking to take out this high. I'm not trying to expect too much out of the market. You just want to play within the guidelines that the market sets. You don't want to try and aim for all-time highs every single trade. Otherwise, just like what we've had, I took profit at a really perfect time. It went a little bit higher. Most traders would have been like, far out, I shouldn't have closed the trade. But me, I'm happy to take $8,391 of profit, and look what happens to price. Now I can get in at a better entry down here, right? So I want to keep the video pretty short and sharp. Let me know if this video helped you guys. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these and a lot more live trading. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. I'm going to be uploading a lot of videos. And yeah, anything you need in the comments, just hit me up. Happy to help. Peace out.